Hi guys, my name is Pawan and I welcome you all towards my YouTube channel. So guys, today in this video we are going to discuss on second PUC English on how to write a resume. So in my previous video we have discussed in much brief on how to write a letter. So if you have not watched my previous video, kindly do give a watch on that video first, and the link is in the description box, and then come back to this video because only then you'll get an overall 360-degree viewpoint on how to attempt for your job application. See guys, as I've said you earlier, for both your letter and resume, it normally consists just for 5 marks. So it's normally advised for the students on to write the letter and resume at the very last but not at the beginning, because if you start attempting your letter and resume at the very beginning, there may be chances that you may skip out your time for attempting some questions of 4 markers, 6 markers, and even there's a chance that you miss out attempting some questions of grammar. So it's normally advised you write your letter and resume because it's just for 5 marks at the very end of your answer sheet. So as being said that, now let's discuss on to the question which we have already discussed priorly for your letter. So just to give you a revamp on what we have done previously as a small recap, just let's read on to the question. The question was, write a letter of application in response to the following advertisement which appeared in the Deccan Herald dated 20th May 2019. The Apollo Group of Hospitals invites application for the post of Public Relations Officer. Applications should be graduate with minimum 1 year experience. Apply with 1 week to the personal officer, the Apollo Group of Hospitals, Banarghatta Road, Bangalore 560032. This was the question. So we have already discussed on how to write the letter in much brief. So kindly do give a watch on that. So now in this video we'll be discussing in much more brief about the resume. What are the tips, what are the hacks you're supposed to follow while attempting your resume. So as being said that, now let's get started without any further delay. So now let's look into the format of a resume. See guys, resume, I've written it very clearly in the middle of the page, and it's very important that you follow the same format. It's like heading center aligned. That means that resume should always be in the middle of the page, and you can observe very clearly I have written the spelling as R-E-S-U-M-E. Top of E you can see an accent. So it's very important you to write the same, because then only it becomes resume. It is basically a French accent, but still we follow the same format for our resume. And then let's look into the format and the contents which you're supposed to add in your resume. Firstly, about the name. See guys, name, if it is already given in the question, then you can write the same thing. If not, you can mention it as XYZ, AAA, any alphabets. Similar way that even applies for your address. So address also, if it is given in the question, you can write the same, or else you can write in any alphabets. And then you're supposed to write your date of birth, father's name, gender, male, female, nationality, Indian, contact number, please do provide a contact number, and then email ID, a random email ID. So guys, it's very important that you align it in a proper order. For example, if your name, if you're writing in one particular order, make sure that you follow the same pattern for other things also while mentioning your address, date of birth, father's name. Please don't jumble it up. Make sure it is properly aligned. So this is the first important step. Second important step is you're supposed to write your objective. See guys, it applies the same concept whether it is an HR post, whether it is in public relation officer post, or whether it is a teaching profession. You can opt the same kind of objective which I've given it to you, but you can be flexible. You can change if the profession is demanding for it. However, if it is not that effective, then you can do the same thing. So let's read out to the objective. So objective says very clearly, that is to effectively utilize my communication skills and contribute towards the growth of the organization. Very simple. This can also apply towards the institution. For example, if they are asking about a teacher's role over there, a teacher's application. So while in your resume, you can mention it out very clearly, to effectively utilize my communication skills and contribute to the growth of the institution. So depending on the context of the question, you can change it and be very much flexible. And after that comes the education qualifications, which is very important guys. So in your education qualification, make sure that it is always side-handed. That means that left aligned most of the time, because that's very important. So guys, after giving the heading as education qualification, which have been aligned to the left side, now let's see what are the contents which you're supposed to add on to your education qualification. First one, you're supposed to bifurcate into 4 columns, and firstly you're supposed to write about the qualifications on whatever you have completed, and then the institution, on which institution did you complete that particular course, how much percentage of marks you have been secured, and then year of passing. It's as simple as that. And one more important tip which I would like to tell you is that, and most of the middle students make the same mistake, that they start writing from the first SLC, PUC, and then their undergraduate course. It's completely wrong. Whenever you start writing with your educational qualification, it is as important that you start writing with your undergraduate course first. After giving heading of your undergraduate course, write your 12th grade, and then you're supposed to mention about SLC. So after the qualification, we write about the institution. So in which institution you have completed that particular course, that you're supposed to write. For example, if you have completed BHRD course from Bangalore University, you can write that. Pre-university education, that is your 12th grade, then you can mention your college or school name. And then if you complete your 10th grade SLC from any kind of school, you can even mention that. It is normally advised that you write even the government school's name, government college's name. Then percentage of marks, on what are your percentage of marks that you have been secured while studying that particular course, you're supposed to mention it. And then year of passing, on which year did you pass. So whenever year of passing you're writing it, think logically and write. Please don't write everything as 2012, 2013, 2014. Logically analyze it, and then you're supposed to write it down. Then after that comes the work experience. Similar way, even for our education qualification, we written it in the left side. Similar way, the same heading of work experience, write it in the left side, align it towards the left angle. Then you're supposed to bifurcate into three parts. Firstly, you're supposed to write the institution, and then your designation, and then the year. See guys, institution, on what exactly was your, whichever university or whichever institution did you work, you are supposed to mention it over there. And then designation, what was your role, and then the year which you have completed or which you are basically employed in that particular duration in that particular firm. So starting with the institution, you can mention the company name, like any company name. For example, I have mentioned over here it as S&M Services, and designation was PRO, Public Relation Officer, and the year, which year did you work over there. And then ABC Limited, again I was the assistant PR, and then which year did you work, 2014 to 2017. And XYZ Enterprises, assistant PR, 2012 to 2014. So if you observe very carefully, if you observe the careful trend of the year which I have written, first with the lowest I've started with the year which I have been completed at the very late, so it was from the latest stage. Then after that, from 2014 to 2017 I was working in another firm. Then presently from 2017 to 2019 what I was working, I've mentioned upon to that. Similar way, even for your education qualification, if you observe carefully, I've written it from 2007 SLC, then PUC 2009, and then the undergraduate course whichever I've opted in 2012. So year column should always go from the lowest to the toppest. So it's a simple false format which you can follow, and it is very easy guys. So this comprises of your education qualification and work experience. So guys, after your education qualification work experience, it is advisable to write about the additional qualifications. Additional qualifications are those which have been completed while you're presently studying in your education aspect, whichever you have been studying during your undergraduates or while you're working. For example, if you've done any kind of additional qualification, it can be any kind of diploma course or all that aspects, you can mention it over here. So I have mentioned over here as postgraduate diploma in human resource management. And after that, write the languages you know. Languages whichever you know, you can write over there as English. Start with English first, okay? So which is the primary language first, right? The English, Hindi, Kannada, and French. And other interests are reading and painting. So whatever is your interest, your hobbies, you can mention it over there. And then reference. So reference, it is something very important that you're supposed to know. It is something, or it's a it's a reference column. You'll be writing out the person's name where you have been previously worked. So it is just basically for any kind of the company, the present company whichever you are applying for. If they want a reference on, they want to understand your performance, what was it in the previous firm which you have been worked, to get that linkages, they normally mention about this references. So references I've just mentioned is that Dr. Silva, manager, S&M Services, Bangalore 56007, and then Mr. XYZ, or you can mention out any name, ZYX, and then CEO, ABC Limited, Kottayam 67008. So after mentioning that, you are supposed to put a declaratory statement stating that what you have mentioned above are true, correct, and best of your knowledge. So how are you going to write that? You can write as, I hereby declare that the details furnished above are true and correct to the best of my knowledge and belief. It's as simple as that guys. Put a small declaratory statement, write the place, date. So place, if you want, you can write it as XXX, and then date, present date you can write, and then the signature. So signature is very important. Date also, whenever you're writing, be sure that you write the proper date. For example, if you're applying it on 29th May 2020, such that your date also should be aligned, and the deadline is supposed to be on 30th of May. Make sure that you don't write the first month after that. After May, June, please don't write June month the date over there. So it's very important that you focus even up to the date, and then you're supposed to write depending on to the question. So guys, that's all for today. We have completed discussion on the entire resume format. I hope you found it as a little more interesting and engaging, and you got a clear picture on how you're supposed to write your letter and resume. So if you do like this video, please do like it, share it, and subscribe. So in the further parts of the video, we shall also be discussing on different concepts of your grammar, as well as for your 4 markers and 6 markers. So if you want any kind of help, kindly put a message in the comment box. I shall surely help you out. Thank you. Goodbye.